certified pediatrician and board certified child abuse pediatrician.
So Candy, tell everybody what's going on with the dust in your home.
Well, it's not because I'm a bad housekeeper. If you are watching us on YouTube, I'm in a different venue. I'm actually coming to you from my bathroom because I'm doing some construction, and my bedroom and bathroom and the bedrooms upstairs are the only place that aren't covered in dust. And everything downstairs is taped off with plastic. So this is where I am, but I'm super excited about the product that will be coming hopefully soon.
You've been talking about getting that done for a minute.
8 years to be exact.
Right. So I'm crossing fingers that Christmas will be at your house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Candy, who do we have with us today?
So I am thrilled to have Mrs. Anita Heiskell. And I met Anita when I was in Texas because she joined Jack and Jill. And then my son, Boogie, was in a botillion, which for those who don't know, that's like a cotillion for boys. And Anita taught my son social graces and etiquette. And that is now what she is doing. I need to give you a little introduction. So Anita is a certified social graces, etiquette, and image consultant. And she is a graduate of the Social Skills and Etiquette Mom School of Protocol. She has over 25 years of experience. And she started because she was a competitor in pageants. And Anita is a trailblazer with regard to competitive. I'll let you tell it. But her motto is, etiquette is not extinct. So welcome, Anita Heiskell, and we're going to be talking about etiquette and social graces. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
You're is welcome. An absolute pleasure. And listen, I was at that botillion. I heard all about Boogie's journey to get to the botillion, and he presented with such poise and grace, and he still has that just in his stature, in how he presents himself. And I have to say that that's got to go back to your training. So thank you for elevating my nephew.
I want to say he had a little bit of foundation before from me. And she just augmented. So Anita,
let's make sure.
Can you talk about why your name is in the history books when it comes to pageants and competitions?
Well, back in the 80s is kind of when I started. I was looking for a way to pay for college. And I fell into the scholarship pageants, which is the Miss America system. And so living in Tennessee, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, I decided, okay, if these pageants are going to give out scholarship funds, then this will be a good way for me to earn money. And that's what I did. So I entered my very first pageant ever, which was the Miss Memphis pageant. And the pageant was huge. It had over 60 competitors. And there were so many that they had to have a prelim to knock the girls down to a certain number to where they could have a number where it wouldn't take all night to do. Right. And so I can remember my dad telling me, he says, well, I guess I better go to this prelim because that's probably the last time you're going to be on that stage. And it was kind of a joke, Right. And so after all that was said, out of the prelim and all the 60 plus young women that were vying for the title of Miss Memphis, I came out the winner. And it was my very first pageant. And also I am in history as the very first African-American woman to ever to win the Miss Memphis pageant. There have been some after me, but I did open the doors for them. Yes. So it was very exciting for me.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you entered this first one?
When I entered the pageant, I was 18 years old.
18.
And 18, yes. And I gained lots of scholarship money to use for college. And then that pageant took me on to the Miss Tennessee pageant. And then I did place in the top 4 of that pageant.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. And so that is how I kind of got my start in the etiquette, because etiquette and knowing how to present yourself is all a part of that, whereas pageants are a part of that because it teaches you life skills to take out into the world and just to help you become more successful.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, you do the pageants, they are teaching etiquette as part of their process.
Mm-hmm.
And when was it that you said, oh no, this is something I really want to do as like a standalone business for myself?
I had it in my head for a long
Mm,
time, and I was doing it. I guess it was what you would call just giving it away,
right.
and
Hmm.
Right.
and just out into the community and working with young people, and I love that. And then I got married, then I had my two sons, and then it just kind of went to the wayside. And
Right.
then once I got the first one out of the house, then my husband said, you know, you are really good at this. You really need to think about starting something to where you can do this as a business because you love it. And so
Right.
I put together the 3 P's, which is called prim, poised, and proper. And those 3 P's turned into my etiquette and social graces and image consulting business. And so that has been now 8.5 years.
Oh, that's
Wow.
fantastic.
That's
Mm-hmm.
fabulous. Now, um, I I believe, I mean, as a pediatrician, you have to teach your kids manners. And
Hmm.
sometimes kids come to my office and they're talking to their parents crazy or talking to me crazy. And I will say, listen, you can't talk to your mother like that in front of me, and you certainly can't talk to me that way. So do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? And kids they fall in line when you kind of establish those types of boundaries. But what is the lowest age that you start to teach, like formally through your company, etiquette?
For me, the youngest that I will work with is 5.
Okay.
That is when you really need to put a handle on it. But we have to remember parents can't teach what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, hmm.
And sometimes, a lot of times, parents need refreshers or they need introductory classes as well, because if you haven't been taught and you don't know, then it's hard for you to teach it as well. There was a time when my youngest, we were at a baseball game, and I always remember this story. His name is Mason, and he was running around at the baseball game, just running around, and my husband said, Mason, and he stopped in his tracks and he said, yes sir. And the people around us said, how you get him to do that? And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was interesting, because children live what they see and they live what they learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you start it early and telling
Right.
them and showing them, and they learn by watching, and if they
Hmm.
watch you and you do the right thing. But 5 is where I start my classes, but you can start earlier, even at home, just
Mm-hmm.
teaching your children the basics about how to respond, how to say the magic words, please, thank you, you're welcome, how to, you get what you give. When you give goodness, you're going to receive goodness. So
Right.
starting as early as possible is perfect. And so that's my motto. Just teach your kids early and don't let it get out of hand, because
Hmm.
once it gets out of hand, it's hard to reel them back in.
Yes. Yes.
I,
Definitely.
I'm thinking of, Candy and I are Jamaican, immigrated here when we're quite young, but I feel that, especially for our parents' generation, where they were, raised under this British rule,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a different approach to how you're raising your kids, and how to present in society. And I feel, and again, I was very young when I moved here, but I feel that there was a difference with that sort of British royalty sort of approach, as opposed,
Colonialism.
yes, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to not having that. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt that there were things that we did in our home that maybe not all of our friends did, because
Mm-hmm.
it was a different approach in
Mm-hmm.
regards to etiquette.
Yeah, and what I hear you saying is a cultural difference. And that's always going to be, but you're gonna learn how you're taught from your parents. Etiquette is etiquette. Sometimes etiquette is situational. There's rules to it, but sometimes you have to use your best judgment. And coming from where you grew up and came from, I'm sure you guys got the lessons on tea. You guys got the lesson on how to sit and how to stand and how to present. Well, really, when you think about it, Judy, there's really no difference between that and here. But the thing is, you take what you have and you utilize it and you use it, and hopefully the people that you are around will see that and they will take on to it. But the rule of etiquette is you never criticize anyone for their etiquette, whether it's what you grew up doing or not, because that is not the rule. The rule of etiquette is you always show respect to others, and that way you always show and you give respect to yourself and give respect to others. So etiquette may be different in the Bahamas or in Jamaica or in London than it is here in the United States. But etiquette is etiquette. So you're going to do what you do, and the other people are going to do what they do as far as it's proper etiquette. Right. And you just kind of make it blend in and with together. And when I see people from different cultures and doing things, I always say, oh, I want to learn from that because I see it. And so hopefully doing that, when you were doing that with your friends growing up, hopefully they took something from that and took it with them to help them in their everyday life as well.
Yeah, and I thank you for bringing in, just naming it, like the cultural differences, because there were absolutely things that I learned from my friends in their homes that we did not also do. So it kind of, like you said, you follow what you see, what's demonstrated, what's modeled for you, and you hopefully you take those bits and pieces and put them together to make something that's truly appropriate for you and your family.
Right. And I'm going to take something as small as, let's say if you come from a household that didn't say grace before they ate, and then you're at a friend's house or you're with someone where they do say grace before they eat. Well, you wouldn't say, oh no, we don't do that. Right. You should, you wouldn't do that because that's not showing respect. And that's what etiquette is. So what you would do is you just sit there and bow your head and go along with it. And so that's what etiquette is all about. You just kind of take it and receive it and go, but you never criticize someone else's cultural differences, whether it be etiquette or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So I have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Candy.
When you also teach adults, so what are common things that you see that adults need to know? Just kind of like if you were doing a crash course in etiquette for adults, what are like the key points and what are some things that you observe that people are unaware of?
It's so many, but I'm gonna kind of pin it down. Knowing how to meet and greet, knowing how to enter a room or enter a conversation or exit a conversation. Those are basic things that people need to know. There are so many adults that don't know how to give a proper handshake, that don't know how to look people in the eye and engage, and just how to enter a room. Also, the other major thing is at dinner, events, banquets, galas, not knowing what utensil to use or how to hold it or which glass or a bread plate is yours. Those are things that are very, very important because a lot of times where we work in our professions, we are representing ourselves, but we're also representing the company or the people that we're working with. So those are two of the main things that I see that adults have a problem with. And that is across the board, no matter what they do, what their profession is. Those are two of the things that I find that adults have some of the biggest issues with as far as etiquette wise.
Okay,
so how do you enter a room, Anita?
Yeah, I was going to ask, and I need to ask about
Dr. Sophia Grant. I mean, what do you do?
Okay, there's different times. Okay, so let's say you're entering a networking event. Okay, now everybody's kind of standing around, they're meeting and greeting. Now you're going to just kind of find the people that you're going to go into that conversation. You walk in, you stand tall. You walk in like you own the room because that's going to make people want to come over to you. They're going to say, oh, because it's that first impression that happens within the first 3 to 7 seconds. And then you're going to kind of enter those conversations or see people that you want to enter. And you don't just walk up to the conversation. You kind of just stand to the side and wait to be invited in. Then you're going to present yourself. Hi, I am Anita Heiskell. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to have that eye contact. You're going to give the handshake. And then you're going to start that conversation. Okay. Now, how do you exit that conversation? Oh, excuse me. Does anyone know where the ladies' room is? Or you would say something like, oh, excuse me. It's been so nice to meet you, but I see Mr. Johnson over there and I really need to go say hello to him. It was very nice meeting you. So you don't ever just barge into a conversation and you never just walk away from a conversation. You always have something prepared to get you in and something to get you out.
So, a question. You mentioned handshakes.
Yes.
I have been told the majority of my adult life that my handshake is too firm. And I feel that this was something that my parents talked about when we were little. Like, you don't want to give a weak handshake because that sends a whole other message. And people have kind of surprised when they shake my hand. Is there an expectation that a woman should shake a hand differently from a man?
No, there is not. There's an expectation that the handshake should be firm, regardless of who it is. Because if you give a wimpy handshake, then that's done. Okay,
It's
but
such
it
a
doesn't.
turnoff.
It really is.
It is a turnoff, and you don't want to give. You don't want it, Judy, to be a vice grip.
Right.
But you don't want it to be a finger shake either, wimpy.
No,
so
I can't
you want to go all the way in to where the thumbs meet, and you want to have a firm one, and it's not holding on to it, shaking up and down, up and down, up and down while you're talking. It's no more than 2 pumps. It's 1-2 pump. You let it go and you back off, and then you have your small talk and your conversation. So you don't want to kill them with the grip, but you don't want it to be weak with the grip. So you want it to be somewhere in between. And people are shocked when they get a nice firm handshake from a woman because they're not used to it. But don't change that. Just go ahead and continue to give it because it's a great first impression and it sets you apart. And that's what the networking part is all about. It's being set apart from everyone else in the room.
So last night, I met someone. I was out with my husband and we ran into a colleague, and they introduced me to their partner, and I went to shake their hand, and this person presented a fist bump. And that's so for a moment, I didn't know what to do with that. That's so far out of my greeting of a person. It was just a funny moment for me, and I've been thinking about it.
Well, Judy, let me tell you. Now, remember, we've just gone through a pandemic. I know it's been several years ago.
Great point.
And there are a lot of people who have not gone back to shaking hands as they normally did. So that is one of those. That's one of those etiquette is situational moments.
Okay.
You cannot take that away from him or her by doing that. And so the fist bump, people are using that. I teach a little bit of, instead of the fist bump, it can be kind of a head nod and maybe a hard pound. But that is something that people are doing. And so instead of him or her saying, oh, no, I don't shake hands because that would be inappropriate etiquette wise, they would do something that is appropriate for them. So we can't take that away from them because that is a situational thing. But in the norm, if something like this hadn't happened with our pandemic, a handshake would be the proper way to go.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
I stayed at a hotel in South Africa, which was gorgeous, and everybody greeted you, like that. There was, that was just and it was kind of the culture of the hotel.
Right.
And
Candy, did you find yourself greeting others in that way as well?
No, because I just for me, it felt like they were bowing like they're serving me. And I like that. It kind of made me uncomfortable in the sense that I was in South Africa. I'm like, you don't have to bow to me, but it was the culture of the hotel.
Right. Right.
And also to remember that that's their culture.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and even though it may have seemed like they were bowing to you and you felt uncomfortable with it, they were showing a sign of respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
with regard to etiquette, what are some topics that you just should not bring up? Like, no, don't bring this up.
In within conversations.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
impolite conversations.
Okay. And so what I refer to this is small talk. And I teach a lot of this because when you're dining and meeting people, small talk is very important because it gets the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that you do not want to bring up. One is politics,
Mm-hmm.
one is religion, another are finances, and another is relationships and sex. So those are some things you do not want to bring up in the conversation or the small talk because those are topics, when you think about it, those topics can all go left.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, because people have different opinions about those things that can be
Right.
very, very serious. But when you keep it with family, where you grew up, where you went to school, what you do for a living, what are your hobbies, your
Right.
children, those are things that are very light. And those questions actually bring in a fluid conversation and not just one word answers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're just meeting somebody.
Absolutely. And so you want to keep it light, but you want to keep it interesting. And like I tell people when we're working, conversation is fluid. It should be like fish swimming in the ocean. And it should be continued. It should never be one word answers where you got to stop and think about what to say next. It should be very conversational, like a tennis match. You hit the ball and then I hit the ball and it
Mm-hmm.
goes back and forth. So when you use those topics, about family and things like that, it kind of keeps the conversation going. And also too, it's good to have yourself a little elevator speech. So when you're going out to events and you're going to meet people, have a little elevator speech to where you can start out introducing yourself within about 30 seconds or less. That can keep that conversation going when you have that introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's
And
your elevator speech?
My elevator speech is, hello, I'm Anita Heiskell. It is so nice to meet you. I am with Prim, Poised, and Proper, and I'm a certified social graces etiquette and image consultant. And I've been doing this for about 8 years, and I absolutely love it. Tell me a little bit about
mm-hmm.
yourself. And that's how I get into my conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
with the etiquette thing, it starts so many wonderful
Yeah.
conversations, and I'm going to tell you why. The
Yes.
response,
Yes.
yes, the response I normally get is, wow, I didn't know people still did that.
Oh, my gosh. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then my response is, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then that opens up a whole nother door because etiquette is so far gone from people's minds. It's all about me, me, me. And that's what brings in my motto that etiquette is not extinct. It has evolved.
Yeah,
Right.
I think, with social media and phones, my pet peeve is when you're at a function and people are on their phones. It's
Yes.
just it's so irritating to me, and I don't comment, but it's just like you're here but you're not here. I don't
Right.
think,
Mm-hmm.
and as a physician, I need to have my phone when I'm on call, but I don't need it all the time.
No. And that's one of the other things I talk about too when I focus on dining etiquette. So when you look at a diagram of a place setting and you see you have your casual place setting or you have your formal place setting, there is nowhere on that diagram where you
Where
see a
there's your
cell
phone.
phone.
Hmm.
You don't see car keys, you don't see sunglasses, you don't see purses, you don't see any of that on that diagram. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that if it's not for you to use to eat with, you shouldn't have it available. Now, there's always circumstances. If you're
Yes.
a doctor or you're a nurse or whatever and you're on call, of course you need your phone, but only when it buzzes. You put it on
Right.
silent, you put it in your lap or you put it in your coat pocket and it's
Mm-hmm.
there. But you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be on it because that is a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to etiquette. Think about a circle that says
Hmm.
etiquette. And there are two lines that go off of that circle. The top one says etiquette is showing respect to others. And the bottom line says creating an image with substance.
Mm.
And those are the two things that go with etiquette. So having that phone, my goodness, if you can't separate from that phone long enough to have a nice dinner with someone, there's a problem.
Right.
So it is a sign of disrespect. And that is one of the things that I teach in some of my sessions, is talking about things that show respect and how you present yourself, and that when you prepare for something, that preparation equals opportunity. But that opportunity is not going to come from you for you if you're talking to someone and you're not showing them respect and giving them the attention, and you're focusing on your phone. You may miss a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I'll be out and I will see if it's two people at dinner and they're both on their
Both on
phone.
their phones. Yeah.
Like,
See it all the time,
are
all the
you not
time.
engaging with each other?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, Anita, about the image consulting piece.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
Clearly, you know how you present, you stand tall, you walk in, you feel confident. But are you also talking about the manner of dress when you're talking
Yes.
about presenting an image? Okay,
Yes.
so what is that about, for women, for men?
The first thing I say is every outfit is not appropriate for every event.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that's something to think about, because
Mm-hmm.
we are in a world and in a society where everything has become extremely casual.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to know where you're going, know the interview, know the job, know the company, know the event. Also know the styles of dress, starting with casual, business, cocktail, formal, black tie, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to
Mm-hmm.
familiarize yourself with those items. I go through all of that and talk to them. Now, example, if you show up to something and you're not dressed appropriately, that is a immediate X for you, because now you have not shown up and given a good impression,
Mm-hmm.
because it shows the person that you didn't take the time to find out what the proper attire is. If it's not on the invitation, or if it's not on the venue notice, then you should ask so that you show up appropriately. So I talk a lot about that. I help people put things together. If you go to an interview at Lockheed Martin and you go to an interview at Amazon, do
Mm-hmm.
the research. Two different types of interviews. If you
Right.
show up to Amazon in a suit and tie, they're going to look at you strange, because Amazon is very, very laid back. They would prefer to see you in a nice button down and some khakis. But you go to Lockheed, they're going to expect you as a gentleman to show up in a suit and tie.
Right.
For a lady, they're going to expect you to show up in a nice pantsuit, blazer, or dress and skirt. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to know the difference. So those are the things that I talk about. What is appropriate for what, how to put things together. And I also discuss your body shape and style, because what
Ooh.
may look good on you, Judy,
Yes.
may not
Yes.
look good on me, because
Right.
of our difference in body shapes. And we have to be honest with ourselves of who we are. Are we an apple? Are we a pear? Are we a triangle? Are we
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
hourglass? So once we focus in on those things, then we can move forward with that image consulting part of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I always wonder when I see the apple pear, what have you. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what this is.
hmm
Okay. That's
And
the
also, too, the other thing, the last thing I talk to them about are colors. And we
mm-hmm.
talk about colors and what would be appropriate to wear, because sometimes it's better to be understated than to be overstated. So you have to be able to know how to tell and differentiate between those things as well. There's so much that goes into this, so
Mm-hmm.
much
Yeah.
that goes into it.
Yeah. The other day I was invited to a gala, and I see the word gala and I think formal.
Well, I
Um,
think formal is one thing, but gala to me is more like black tie. That's how I
okay.
interpret that. Uh-huh.
Okay. So and I was debating, and I never been to this event before, and I asked the person inviting me, and they told me, they gave me just a little brief description, and I was like, okay, so I can wear like a cocktail dress, um, and so that's what I went with. But when I got there, I'm seeing people in, like, coming right from work in their work clothes, or men without ties, and I'm thinking, wow, that description means different things to different people. But in my mind, it means like you put your clothes on and you show up.
And that's one of the things I say when people stand up and they say it's business, it's formal. My question is, what does that look like? And the reason why I say that is because just like what you said, certain things mean different things to other people.
Right.
Gala is not business wear. A gala is formal. It's your dress to the floor. Okay. So it could even be white tie. I mean, like the top of formal. So when you have to be really careful when you're having an event and you're using words like that, because you have to put on there attire and not just say gala or formal. You have to say cocktail, short dresses allowed, or you say men, tuxedos required. Neckties required, or dark suits required. So with invitations these days, you have to be more intentional and more in depth and descriptive
right.
to let people know what exactly is the attire for that. And if you don't know, you ask. The person that invited you told you what to wear, and she knew, but other people probably didn't know that, and they just came in whatever. So it's very important to ask, find out, and know, and also familiarize yourself with the different styles of attire so that you know when you see it, you'll know what is required of you.
That's great.
Okay, so formal versus black tie. To me, formal is dressy, it's nice, but for a woman, it's a more structured bodice and gown. And how do you interpret that?
Exactly the same way. Formal, I
Okay.
still consider it to be a gown to the floor. Sometimes men do not have tuxedos, so it is perfectly okay for them to wear a dark suit and a white shirt and a tie.
Yeah.
But when we get to black tie and white tie, that is tuxedo required. And ladies, that is formal gown to the floor required. And even you can add in some opera gloves if you like.
I want an opportunity to wear opera gloves.
A
Yeah.
few years ago, when my son graduated from college, I said to him, I don't want you to be the guy who has to rent a tuxedo. So I bought him a tuxedo. I feel like every man of substance owns his tuxedo, and maybe even
Absolutely.
multiple tuxedos. But I just think it's like, I feel like every woman, I mean, of course, if you're not in those circles, but you need to have a floor length gown in your closet ready, and every man needs a tuxedo. So,
And that's a great point, because when somebody invites you, you don't want to have to always run out and grab
Yeah.
something. And you think about, if you buy a tuxedo, if you wear it twice, you've paid for it. So
exactly.
it's better to just get a nice traditional tuxedo, something that's not trendy, something that's not going to go out of style.
Yep.
Ladies, get you a nice black formal gown to the floor, get you a nice cocktail dress, and you're good to go. And you can change it up with shoes, and you can change it up with jewelry. But I totally agree with you. Any man with substance, that's always really a good gift to give your son when they graduate from high school, or when they graduate, and get them another one when they graduate from college, so that they have it in their closet and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Right.
and Candy, we saw our brothers always wearing suits,
Yeah.
when they were 12 and 13 and
Yeah.
14 years old. So I just thought, like, every
Every
kid,
guy has a
every
suit.
boy has a suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
Right.
And now it's trending, and I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's trending where the young men and also the older men are now wearing the suits and tuxedos with sneakers.
I've
Not
seen
just
that.
a
Yes.
sneaker, not just a sneaker ball, but just putting the sneakers on as well. I personally feel that takes away from the formality. There's a time and a place for that. But I think when you put on your nice suit and tuxedo going to a gala or a nice function, go ahead and put on your dress shoes.
Yeah. And for men, what are dress shoes? Is it a loafer, an Oxford, a lace up? What do you recommend?
Okay, a dress shoe can be a lace up, which is what I would normally like to see a lace up, but you can get a nice dressy loafer that you can see, not the basic casual loafer, but a nice loafer,
Right.
something with a shine to it,
Right.
that can go with a nice suit. So you can pull off the loafer, and a dress shoe also would be something that laced.
So,
Okay.
what are your thoughts on men in the suit pant that's a bit shorter, no socks with their shoes?
Okay, that's what I call trending, and that's
Okay.
perfectly fine for them to wear to events and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't show up as an attorney in the courtroom in a suit like that. So, there's a time and a place for everything, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a place for that. You see a lot of the young men going to prom in that, or going to different nice formal events in that, but it would not be well accepted in a professional setting.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
And my thing is, if you're going to purchase trendy things, don't spend a lot of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you're going to
Mm-hmm.
purchase traditional, go
Yes.
ahead and get quality, because you're going to have it. But that trend is going to go, and that tight suit with the short pants is not going to be in. So don't go spending a lot of money on it. If you're going to go
Right.
trendy, go a
Right.
little less expensive. But with the traditional, you go ahead and get some
Right.
quality. Mm-hmm.
So, as we're talking, I'm thinking about the notion of chivalry. Whether it's, the young man opening the door for the woman, not to say that the woman can't open the door for herself, but as a gentleman, this is something you do. Car door, all of these different things that kind of fall under that chivalry umbrella. Is that something that you talk to your young men about?
Absolutely, I do. Of course, times have changed. You have some young ladies and women that don't want you to do that.
Right.
They say I can open my own door, and that's okay. And that's their, choice, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I still teach it. And,
Okay.
it's something I want. And I
Mm-hmm.
teach my boys to do it for their girlfriends and fiancés. And
Mm-hmm.
I tell the young ladies, wait, sit in that car until he comes around. Don't get in until he opens the door. And I teach it to the young men. Teach where they walk on the outside on a street, to make
Yeah.
sure you're protecting her safety. Pull out chairs, open doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they don't want that, then the young lady should gracefully say, thank you, but I have it myself. But there's
Mm-hmm.
always a way to do it. But yes, I do teach it, because I don't think chivalry is dead. And I think a young man should always be respectful and offer that to the young woman. If she doesn't like it, she can gracefully deny it.
Yeah,
That.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I love that so much.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think we both taught our boys to walk on the outside. I think
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I taught Boogie that when he was 5. And he was
Yes.
like
Mm-hmm.
probably I'm like, what could he do? But it was just kind of a habit that he got into. And then my
Yeah.
girls are also aware of that as well. And to be honest, I think they use it to measure people. Is this a dude who's going to walk on the
Yes.
outside?
Right.
Is this a dude who's going
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
open my door? And
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
that's another thing. And going back to the first impressions, dating, as young women, we should expect certain things and
yes,
not settle.
Mm-hmm.
As young men, you should want to present yourself properly, so that the young woman appreciates you and knows what a good gentleman you are. So it's okay to do those things. People think, oh, that's old fashioned, that's this, that's that. Etiquette is not extinct. It's still
yeah,
here, and we need to use those things.
Mm-hmm.
People judge you. We all judge. It
hmm,
is what it is, and we just need to get over it. I do care what people think about me when it comes to how I present myself. It really means a lot to me. So I'm always going to present well. And that's what I want young people, kids, and even adults to
Mm-hmm.
just get into their head, that it's always about presenting well and having that great first impression. And that's what sets you apart.
Yeah.
and
You
I
know,
just want to. Oh, go ahead.
one of
I
the things that as we're talking about opening the door and things of that nature, um it I didn't quite realize this, but when walking downstairs, the gentleman is supposed to walk in front of the lady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when that eventually clicked for me, but I was out not too long ago with my son, and I said, okay, now G, when you're walking on the stairs with a woman, whether it be myself, your sister, a girlfriend, whomever, you walk ahead. God forbid she slips and falls, you're there to
catch her.
Yeah.
So the rule of etiquette for that is when you're coming downstairs, the gentleman always walks in front of the lady. When you're going upstairs, the gentleman always walks behind the lady. Because if she falls backwards, you're there to catch her. If she falls forward, you're there to catch her. And so I teach all of this. I teach ladies how to come down the stairs, how to go up the stairs, how to sit properly like a young lady, and also work with the gentleman. But that's a great point. Yes, you always are walking in front when going down and behind when going up as a gentleman in case we have a misstep and you're there to catch us and get us back on track.
Okay. So I need to tell G about going up the stairs.
Yeah, especially in heels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so all of these things and gentlemen that are dating, these are all things that young ladies are looking at for that man to see if he's, if he's a good guy. She's looking at those things, and the gentlemen are looking at the things that ladies are doing as well that you do to see if she's the right lady for you. So we all need to be on our best behavior, and we need to learn those things and those presentation skills that are going to make us stand out.
Yes. Yeah. And, I want to make a point that you can meet somebody at an event and you have a little chit chat conversation. You say your goodbyes. And a year from now, that person may reach out to you because you presented so well. So I think etiquette provides opportunities that you may not even be aware of.
Absolutely. And to that point, I'm going to say this, interviews. When you go into an interview, you're not going to get every job you interview for, unfortunately. But a no today could be a yes tomorrow. And the reason why I say that is accept that no graciously.
Yes.
Because if you don't, they're going to always remember how you were ugly about the no. So if you accept the no graciously, thank them, send them a thank you note, thank them for the opportunity. There may be something else that comes available, and they will say, you remember Judy, she didn't get the job, but I think she would be great for this. So always make sure that you accept those things graciously, because that no today can be a yes tomorrow. And there's so much that goes into etiquette, and you never know who's watching. And that's a good point, Sophia. You never know who's watching, because they may be watching you and saying, wow, he or she, they really have taken the time to learn how to hold those utensils properly, or they've really taken the time to learn how to dine properly. And then they may think about you and try to reach out to you for something that may become available. So those opportunities are always there. So when you present well, those opportunities could come to you at any time.
Right. And, similarly, when you are leaving, let's say you find a position elsewhere. When you're leaving your current job, you do it with grace. You give them proper notice. You do your thank yous, because who knows, in 3, 4, 8 years, you might say, hey, I want to go back there. And if you left with a very positive impression given, you're going to have an easier way back in.
Right. And that's important. And that one of the other things I stress is writing handwritten thank you notes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Those are so important. And
so
and
important.
we've gotten so far away from that. It's a quick text or an email, but that doesn't show you took time. When you send a handwritten thank you note, you've taken the time to shop for the card. You took the time to write the card. So, write a note for the interview. Thank you for the interview. Write a thank you note when you're leaving, graciously giving them the proper notice. Thank you for this opportunity. These years have been amazing. I learned this and that. So always be gracious, because you never know what's going to happen, but have thank you cards already at home. So when something happens or someone gives you something, you don't have to go out and buy them. Keep them handy. and write that thank you note immediately and drop it in the mail. People love that tangible card. They can
Yes.
put it in the drawer and they can go back and look at
Yes.
it. Whereas a text or an email can be erased and removed, and it just doesn't show that you took the time to
Right.
think about what you were doing. So that was a great point.
Yeah.
I have something to share. I'm going to
Okay.
take the seat. My youngest just graduated from college. We had a party for her. And, you know, I had purchased these beautiful thank you notes with orchids and purple. It was beautiful. And I said, you're going to need these in the coming months. And she wrote those thank you letters. And so many people reached back out to me to tell me, I got the most beautiful note from Yaya. I mean, so many people told me how nice it was to receive that. And writing thank you notes, it's not just for girls. It's for your sons also.
Everybody.
It's
Everybody.
And I remember Boogie was about 5 or 6 when I bought his first thank you note. It said Zachary and it had a little green frog on it. And that is how, and Judy, we started writing thank you notes. The first one I recall is I was like 6 or 7. You might have been around the same age, maybe even younger, when we used to get Christmas money and birthday money from our great aunts.
Listen, Mommy would put us around the dining room table, the kitchen table,
Yes.
the 4 of us, and we all had our stack of notes that we had to write. I have never forgotten that lesson, and I still do it. You know, and I talk to my kids about, you got to send a thank you note, and I think they get it and they see. So this has happened a few times. I will give a gift and I don't get a note. And then I'm wondering, like, did they receive
Did you get it?
Did they? Yeah.
And I never know. And I think because I grew up writing these things, I expect it. And when I don't get it, I'm like, do I reach out and say, hey, did you get such and such? It's a weird place for me to be in. But
and you know, and it's about teaching your kids. Dr. Sophia, you talk about how getting your kids cards. I got Michael and Mason theirs when they were 3, and I had them with their names on them. They got thank you cards with their full names on them, and started them writing those cards. And it's very important because that person took the time to think about you, think about what you would like, think about what you wanted. They took the time to shop. They took the time to send it and mail it to you. And you can't even take a few minutes out of your day to write a thank you.
yeah.
So it's all about that being gracious, and that's another form of respect. So that is definitely in my curriculum where I teach the young people how to start with the thank you notes. We actually write thank you notes, and I actually have a session on addressing an envelope, and you would be surprised at how many young people do not even know how to address an envelope or place a stamp. So that is a part of the curriculum: addressing an envelope, writing a thank you note, what the body of a thank you note consists of, the body of it, and then we actually write them, and then I have them send it off to someone that they wrote it to. So these are all things that we're talking about that are all in the curriculum of Prim, Poised, and Proper.
Yeah. I have my formula for thank you notes.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, it shows care when you spend the time and you write a thoughtful note.
Right. Yes, it makes a big difference.
So I want to mention, I want to ask you quickly about dining, not just about how you use your utensils, but how you're eating, and what that looks like. What do you teach your students about that?
This is one of my favorite sessions. I love the dining part. I love all of it, but the dining part is so important to me because I do a lot of events and galas and networking, and you would be surprised at how many people just do not know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. And it's like they haven't even taken the time to learn And as a etiquette instructor, it can be a little disturbing for me to watch. So I have to really kind of calm myself and, and take myself out of it. But I teach everything from how to enter your seats, how to exit your seats, when you put your napkin in your lap, how you put your napkin in your lap, what the napkin is used for. I talk about place settings, what is placed where. I talk about the casual place setting, the formal place setting. We talk about the two styles of dining, which are American and European. We talk about how to hold your utensils, that the salad fork is smaller than the dinner fork, all of those kind of things, how to sit properly, how to keep your elbows in, how to chew with your mouth closed, that it's appropriate to put your elbows on the table when you don't have utensils in your hand. But if you have utensils in your hand, you can only put your forearms on the table. So we go through the entire thing about how to engage with people, how to have small talk, how to chew with your mouth closed, how to eat soup properly. That you take your spoon away from you, not bring it to you, that you drink from the side, how to put your sugar in your tea, how to stir your tea. So it is a full blown out session of how to do it properly. And once we are done with that session, you can dine anywhere. You can dine as casual or as formal as possible because you get the tools that you need to know how to do it. You could dine 3-course or you could dine 14-course. You would know everything to do that can help you do this properly. People that are eating with their utensils like a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
That's shoveling food and not holding the utensil properly. So we go through all of that. And once you're done with the session, even 5-year-olds can learn how to do this, and they love it because it's fun. And so that's what I do. And I teach them how to be engaged and learn it. And then you go out there and implement it. And then voila, you're the best diner ever.
You know, one thing I learned
that's a lot. I mean, everything that I just pulled out, that's a lot. And that's just kind of the tip of it. There's a lot that goes into it.
Of course.
You know, one thing I learned from you, Anita, when Boogie was taking his dining classes, when you're eating soup, the spoon should be away from you. You shouldn't be like scooping it up into your. And then I knew this before, but you shouldn't be blowing on your food. Wait for it to cool. You spoon away.
You wait for it to cool.
Yeah. Sometimes
you were listening.
Sometimes when I'm eating soup and I spoon it away, I think of you. Yeah, that was a lesson.
So wait. Let me get a visual. You've got your bowl here of soup. So your spoon is, you dip your spoon away and then bring it to you.
And then you bring it to. Yeah. So because that lessens the chance of you spilling on yourself.
Oh, okay. Because I'm used to going this way
down
to my
mouth. You go away from you and then you bring it to you. Okay. And that is the proper way to eat your soup.
All right.
See, it keeps from splashing on you. And the other thing I teach is dining should be slow. Dining should not be fast. It shouldn't be rushed. So think about it. We eat to live, because if we don't eat, we're going to die. Right. So we eat to live, but we dine to stay united. Ooh. So when you're dining, it should be slow and easy. You should put your utensils down. You should have some small talk. You should turn the table. And that's an old term, where turn the table means when you're at an event, you should be able to speak to every single person that's at that table before your meal is over, because you're uniting and you're having small talk. So we eat to live, but we dine to stay united.
Wow. Okay.
That's a great place Anita, to end.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is perfect. Thank you so much. I feel that we could all use a refresher. We could all learn a little bit more. And so this is a great conversation to share with our audience. And again, being mindful of the cultural differences, being respectful of those, but also just knowing just regular everyday etiquette that regardless of the cultural background, these are things that we can all implement.
And everything we do says something. And I think that's what we forget. The way we stand, that nonverbal communication, the way we hold our hands, the way we sit, all of those things say something. So we talk a lot about that too. And one thing I do want to add, when I do dining sessions and when I do a lot of private sessions, I actually bring the parents in. I bring the parent in to do the dining session with their child or with their son so that they can get a refresher and then they can reinforce those things when they're at home.
Yes, yes.
So,
Well, thank you so
Anita,
much for being with us today.
I know you teach classes in the DFW area, but are you available online? How can people reach you?
Oh, yes, I do. I do virtual sessions and I also travel as well. I do a lot of speaking engagements because I am also involved in business etiquette and I do executive training, training executives for people that are going to, present and have a image to uphold for the company that they're working for. But people can reach me at primpoisedandproper@gmail.com. And you can also reach me at 817-219-5557. Reach out. I can talk with you, give you a little consultation, see what you would like. But yes, I do in person, I travel, and I also do virtual training and coaching as well.
And Anita, do you have an Instagram?
I do. Heiskell56.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And I think you have reminded me of a few things that I'll start implementing today and tomorrow and going forward.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk about what I do because it's my purpose and my passion. I love working with people, helping them to become the best that they can possibly be.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Two Sisters of a Certain Age. Candy, how can folks reach us?
Well, we are at twosofapodcast@gmail.com. We are on Instagram at Two Sisters of a Certain Age, and we're on YouTube at Twosofa.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
No Longer Network.